Hello, in this presentation we will go over the outline of the QuickBooks Online Set Up a New Company File course. We're currently in the overview section of the Udemy page. If we scroll down through the overview section, we will see that we have 2.5 hours of instructional video at this time. That could change as time passes. We're going to scroll back up and go to the course content section of the page. Within the course content section, we will have 3 items. We got the introduction, the getting started, getting set up, and the start a new company file. By far, most of the information will be here in the start a new company file. Introduction will in essence be this as the introduction. Getting started, getting set up, we're going to go to the Intuit website and talk about the options for the online version and how to get the QuickBooks version set up so that we can then enter our company data. Then we'll go through and we'll actually enter the company data. So we'll start off with the preferences. We'll put our company information into the system. Then we'll talk about the beginning balances, how to put our beginning balances with the assumption that we already have some transactions going on. We already have the business going, and we're now putting our information into a new QuickBooks software. So first we'll set up probably the most difficult component of our setup process, which will be inventory and service items. So service items are going to be those types of things that we sell. And even if we don't have inventory on hand at this point in time that we need to record, we do want to set up the service items because that's how we're going to be able to generate our invoices. So that's really part of the main setup process that then makes the later data input much easier. We here are also going to have inventory items. So we'll talk about both service items, how they're used in QuickBooks, and inventory items, how they're used. Very important components in setting up invoices, whether we are selling inventory or not. If we have a service company, we still have to set up those types of items. We'll also put in beginning balances for the inventory items and discuss how QuickBooks allows us to do that easily, but also there's kind of a cost that we'll have to go through and make some adjustments towards the end for it. Then we're going to put in the customer balances and some customers. And the idea here that we already have some customers when we start the system, and 2, that people already owe us money, companies already owe us money, and therefore we're going to put those beginning balances into the system. Once again, QuickBooks allowing us to do that fairly easily, but we then need to realize that QuickBooks is doing something else somewhere else in order to make that happen. So how do we enter those beginning balances in so that our system is as accurate as possible? We'll do the same for the vendors, meaning who we owe money to, and this will be accounts payable. And so we'll put in some vendors that we're going to be paying out to, and we'll put in the balances for the vendors that we owe to the vendors. So then we'll set up new company accounts and the trial balance. We'll take a look at the trial balance. What is the trial balance? Most of it will be set up in terms of the chart of account when we select the type of company that we will be using. But we also want to go through and add some new accounts to see how it will be done, and take a look at the different account types and how the chart of accounts is listed and how we know what type of account types we should be putting in place. We'll go through different payroll options as well. This is another area that's really specialized, and we could do different payroll options within the QuickBooks software, or we could do payroll options outside the QuickBooks software. Either way we do it, however, we do have to enter the data for the payroll so that our financial statements will be accurate. So we'll talk about some of those options. We'll set up a new employees within the system. So whether we are doing payroll outside of the system or within the system, or having a third-party payroll or not, we still would want to have the employees so that we can track the information in some way within our accounting system. Then we'll take a look at transactions by date. We'll take a look at some of the reports. We'll look at the financial statements reports, and that'll give us an idea of how we're going along the way. If you're following along with us as we go, these transaction reports will then give us a test so we can test how we have done through the data input process.